Hey, my name is David West. I think a lot of people who watch this, or most people who watch this, will know somewhat of me. I'm in most Lego Bricklink spheres, I guess, active in those communities. I run the store DNA Bricks on Bricklink. Link below if you want to support me. Um, I just wanted to make a maybe not quick video, a video outlining what to expect um, starting Bricklink, Brickowl. Um, maybe you could call it a tutorial for like setting up everything, but I just wanted to outline some, I guess, big questions that most people have and that I've seen a lot in different areas about how should I start, how much do I need to invest, how many pieces lots do I need to have for sale. So I just kind of want to go over um, all of those separate, I mean not separate, in this video. So I got my notes here. So I think my number one thing I would say to anyone starting is, I guess first evaluate why you want to. I know it's really fun to watch Derek at Pop's Block Shop sales recaps. It's like, wow, he could be making six figures in sales, and that's true. And he definitely deserves that. And he's put in years of work that have built up to this. But I think um, it's easy to have rose tinted glasses watching these other people's sales recaps and thinking, oh, I could do that. It's just buying Legos and reselling. But it's been said before, but it's important to stress that it's a lot more than that. So I would say evaluate why you want to do this, and if the number one or a big reason you find yourself thinking is because you need or want money, I would say go into something else. For the time you need to put in to actually make comparable numbers to like a real job, it's probably not worth it unless you really enjoy or really love doing it, which is why most people do it. So I would say have a real passion, love, be a fan of Lego in some way, or you're not going to have fun and you're probably going to flounder and end up having to sell the store. Number two that I have here is time. So I would say first know how much time you have available and plan accordingly. If you're only going to be able to dedicate like 5 to 10 hours a week to the store, then don't expect to be making any like serious money. And if it's just for a hobby, then that's fine, of course. And a lot of people do that. They have stores that are just for their extra pieces and whatnot. But if you want to operate on a serious scale, like Great Brick Lab, Pop's Block Shop, all these people who are making serious money, then you need to be prepared to invest 20, 30 hours at least weekly of your time into the store. Regarding profit or profit margins, in regards to money, you can actually pay yourself for working. So I would say, minimum expect like 6 months to pay off whatever your initial investment may be, and then actually being able to take a chunk of your sales money and paying it to yourself while still leaving money to reinvest for new stock for the store. Because it's a slow burn and it may be faster than most normal business avenues because you don't need to pay for a brick and mortar and all of that. But again, expect time to get the money back from your original investment, and remember that to maintain the store, you should always be looking for new stock, and usually are always going to be buying the next deal you see. The next topic I wanted to cover is a pretty common one that people wonder about when starting is, should I start with new pieces from parting out sealed sets or used pieces? And I'm going to be a bit biased in this answer because obviously I started with listing 50 pounds of used bricks cataloged and for sale before I even opened the store. But I think if you're wanting to at least make some sort of good money, you should start with used and mainly focus on used. But that goes back to time. So used is going to take a lot of time, especially in the beginning because the learning curve is so steep. I know when I started, it was me and my friend who opened the store. We sorted and resorted the 50 pounds like 3 times because we originally sorted it by color and then decided that was not going to work because it would be way too slow to catalog. Then we sorted it by piece type, but the categories were way too broad, so we had to resort each category like 3 times. And in the end, it took like a month to get something like 20,000 pieces for sale. And obviously, you can get 20,000 new pieces for sale in 2 or 3 days from boxes into drawers. The reason I would say used is better, and I've said this before on Discords and different Bricklink communities that I'm involved in, is used is going to give you so much more variety, and that's really what I guess one of the main, if not the main reasons people come to your store is going to be because you have the variety that they're looking for. And quantity is important, but if you're just doing new sets, you're going to have the pieces that 80% of all the other stores have because everybody else got that Black Friday deal or everybody else got the double VIP and has those same new pieces for sale. So where you really start breaking away from the competition or getting more for sale than others may have is used, because you need to remember that when you buy 50 pounds of used pieces, you have no idea what's in there. It can date back all the way 1980s, which are variations in colors that have been retired for decades, which are going to drive sales. Because if let's say you part out 10 of bricks and animals, which every store has, then if that's all you have in your inventory, there's really not much reason for someone to visit your store compared to any of the other stores that part out new sets. But if you've parted out 10 of those bricks and animals, and then you've got, let's say 10 pounds, even 10 pounds of used that you've put for sale, and it's got those 2 printed pieces that are needed to complete a set from a decade ago, then they're going to go to your store. And what's nice about that is on the way out, they'll pick up some of those pieces that everybody else has. So I think, well, it is important to have new pieces for sale, and it can increase your turnover or profit margins. You're going to get more sales overall from used. Another point I wanted to mention about new versus used is lot count. So I first noticed when I opened my store, it was around 4,000-ish lots, and when I went from 4,000 to 5,000 to 6,000, I noticed a trend where every 1,000-ish lots I had, I was getting 1 order per day. So when my store was steady at 4,000 lots, I was getting around 4 orders per day. And when I grew it to 5,000, I noticed the uptick. And I think, obviously that number's not a hard rule. There's a lot that goes into that. And I think it does lag by about 3 weeks. So I guess you could say you'll get X orders per day based on how many lots you had 3 weeks ago, is my rough estimate right now. But I do think overall lot count is more important than quantity. My number 1 tip for organization is make it expandable and keep it within a system that you know. The remark system is great. Other people have talked about this before, so whether that be a barcode or just hand typing in your drawer number into the remarks field for each lot, do it in such a way that your pick path is in order, and again, it's expandable. So even if you don't think now that you're ever going to have 1,000 drawers, I would still recommend putting your first drawer as D0001, because you never know. And if the day comes that you do have 1,000 drawers, it will be a lot easier to just type D1000 than have to renumber everything before because you only typed 3 digits originally. So make it scalable, and there's no reason to copy anyone. You can copy obviously whoever you want, but I think it's good to experiment by yourself and figure out what works for you and stick to that and scale it up. My next point is about pricing and how you should price what you're selling, as well as pricing for what you're sourcing. I think if you're just opening, I think there's nothing wrong with pricing a little below the 6 months sales average or right at there. But I would say don't run like 25%, 30% off sales, because while you might get a small cash boost then, in the end you're just shooting yourself in the foot because, again, like I say, having desirable lots is what gets you orders daily. And if you just run a 30% off sale right when you open because you're itching to get orders and you're wondering, why you're not getting orders, then all those lots that all those lots that will create daily orders are going to be gone, and you're going to be left with, the undesirable, like less um, pieces that sell less often, and you're going to get less money for the premium pieces. So I would say when you first open, don't, like people say, don't run a sale unless you have to. I would say don't run one at all. And that goes back to my original point, which is don't depend, at least when you first open, don't depend on the store for income. Because if you go in thinking that I'm going to get X, Y, or Z dollars per day, blah, 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 then I think your expectations are going to be a bit jaded. And when you finally open and you're wondering why I don't get orders, it's mainly comes down to what you have for sale. So I would say instead of running a sale and then getting a bunch of orders and then using that time to pack orders, use that time you already have to upload, more for sale, or source more, or sort some used, or catalog some used. I'd say anything. So if you're looking to boost sales, I think running a percent off sale is probably like very low on the list of ways to do it. I would say don't run sales if you need money or want money. Because again, if what you're looking for is long-term volatility and growth, profit, then increasing your lot count, increasing your quantity is much better in the long run than just having like a weekend flash sale, blah, blah, blah. All right, my last point I have written down is workflow. And I think this one's super important. So I guess have some sort of schedule set out for yourself when you first open, and also have some sort of system laid out for how you're going to part out or how you're going to sort and catalog used pieces. So for example, I usually wake up, pretty early, whatever, but the first thing I do anytime I get into the shop is pack any outstanding orders. And that way the rest of the day I know that while I'm adding pieces, any quantities I look at will be accurate. There's no outstanding orders that need to be fulfilled, so the quantities won't be messed up in that way, and I can just breathe easy because I've already got the orders out. So I would say develop some sort of workflow, whether that be packing all orders in the morning and then working for the day, or working for the day, letting the orders build up, and then packing them at night and shipping them out the next morning. And workflow goes beyond just knowing when or how you're going to pack and ship orders. I would say, give yourself time to part out or sort or catalog used minifigures, whatever it may be. And I would say alternate like 1 to 2 hour blocks of doing those things. And that'll keep your productivity high while also growing the store and keeping you from getting bored. And that's what a lot of people are afraid of, getting bored. I would say don't be afraid of getting bored. If that's a fear you go in having, then I think that's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. I rarely get bored doing any of this stuff, and while it is monotonous, it's I don't know, just for me it's so fun to see the lot count go up, seeing my quantities go up, and then a couple weeks later seeing the sales go up and seeing those pieces go out the door. So I'd say just stay on top of it and know that you're going to put work into it. So don't fear that. Just embrace it and, find something that works for you. So just a recap of all my points. Again, don't go into Bricklink if you need the income or if you're going to depend on it right away. I would say at that point, probably go into a different market. I would say start Bricklink if you want to, get the feeling of having a small business and you really enjoy Lego. Then I would say yes, go for it. So the second point is time. Just remember that to get any sort of profit or income from this, you need to put a lot of time into it. And if you just want to have a hobby store where you sell your extra parts, then that's fine. But any consistent daily sales are going to come from time and a set schedule of when you're putting work in. My next point is, don't expect to break even or, recoup your initial investment for at least 6 months, especially if you're starting with new, because the upfront cost with new is so much higher and the returns are going to be so much lower. And again, you're not going to have the variety of pieces that any other store doesn't have, because we're all mainly parting out the same sets. New versus used, just going over that again. I seriously highly recommend used. Start with used. Go out, find yourself 20, 30, whatever, up to 50 pounds of it. Sort everything, catalog everything, and that way you get a feel for different mold types, different colors, and how you're going to put things for sale, how you're going to add your marks, and where your drawers will be. And then I would say open the store, and that way you've got a starting amount, and you won't have to be waiting for orders with only like 300 lots for sale and wondering why isn't anything selling. Organization, make it scalable, have a system that works for you, and make your pick path numerical or alphabetical or whatever. Just make it in order so that you're not running all around the room, shop, whatever, picking pieces, because that's going to waste a lot of time in the end. Pricing, I would say don't run sales again, unless you're someone who prices like way above the average, then your sale brings it down to the average, then sure. Like I know Derek does that for Poxblock Shop, and I think that's a really smart pricing strategy. But if your sales are already at or below 6 month sales average, there's really no reason to lower them. Just because, again, you're shooting yourself in the foot in the long run, because you're losing the desirable pieces and you're losing money. Even though it seems like you're getting money, you're losing money because, that stock is devalued. And workflow is the last point I had. So just know when you're going to pick orders, when you're going to pack orders, when you're putting stuff for sale, when you're sorting. Have a workflow. And again, break it into 1 to 2 hour chunks. The days will fly by, the lots will go up, and eventually you'll have a store, I don't want to say like mine, like, oh, you could be like me, but yeah, I guess that's kind of the point. Is I've been doing this for 8-9 months now, and I'm already at 9,500 lots. I think if you just put in the time and stay focused, you're going to get there. So yeah, the last thing is have fun, obviously, because I think it is really fun, and it's really cool that we have a platform like this where we can have a niche market, but also have it be something we're super interested in. So yeah, that's I guess the gist of my video is, warnings or tips, maybe not tricks, but some ideas to think about before starting a Bricklink store. And I'll have more videos, a video at least soon, outlining my whole use process, from how I sort my pieces, what categories I'm using, how I catalog, how I put them for sale, all of that. I'll be recording soon and releasing. So thanks for anyone who watched this. Subscribe if you want to. I don't really care. I don't see. I guess I do care if you subscribe, but I don't need you to. You can check out my stores below and my website. I write there. I think that I write kind of interesting blogs, and you can support me there along with my stores. So, bye.